Eu vou ler um extrato da obra A Pérola, de John Steinbeck, em língua inglesa, na língua original. Introduction. In the town, they tell the story of the great pearl, how it was found and how it was lost again. They tell of Quino, the fisherman, and of his wife Joanna, and of the baby Coyotito. And because the story has been told so often, it has taken root in every man's mind. And with all retold tales that are in people's hearts, there are only good and bad things, and black and white things, and good and evil things, and no in-between anywhere. If this story is a parable, perhaps everyone takes his own meaning from it, and reads his own life into it. In any case, they say in the town that... Okay. Chapter 4. Page 46. Thus, in La Paz, it was known in the early morning through the whole town that Quino was going to sell his pearl that day. It was known among the neighbors in the brush huts, among the pearl fishermen. It was known among the Chinese grocery store owners. It was known in the church, for the altar boys whispered about it. Word of it crept in among the nuns. The beggars in front of the church spoke of it, for they would be there to take the tithe of the first fruits of the lack. The little boys knew about it with excitement, but most of all the pearl buyers knew about it, and when the day had come, in the offices of the pearl buyers, each man sat alone with his little black velvet tray, and each man rolled the pearls about his fingertips and considered his part in the picture. It was supposed that the pearl buyers were individuals acting alone, bidding against one another for the pearls the fishermen brought in. And once it had been so. But this was a wasteful method, for often in the excitement of bidding for a fine pearl, too great a price had been paid to the fishermen. This was extravagant and not to be countenanced. Now there was only one pearl buyer with many hands, and the men who sat in their offices and waited for Quino knew what price they would offer, how high they would bid, and what method each one would use. And although these men would not profit beyond their salaries, there was excitement among the pearl buyers, for there was excitement in the hunt. And if it be a man's function to break down a price, then he must take joy and satisfaction in breaking it as far down as possible. For every man in the world functions to the best of his ability, and no one does less than his best, no matter what he may think about it. Quite apart from any reward they might get, from any word of praise, from any promotion, a pearl buyer was a pearl buyer, and the best and happiest pearl buyer was he who bought for the lowest prices. In the brush houses by the shore, Quino's neighbors sat long over their breakfasts, and they spoke of what they would do if they had found the pearl. And one man said he would give it as a present to the Holy Father in Rome. Another said that he would buy masses for the souls of his family for 1,000 years. Another thought he might take the money and distribute it among the poor of La Paz. And the fourth thought of all the good things one could do with the money from the pearl, of all the charities, benefits, of all the rescues one could perform if one had money. All of the neighbors hoped that sudden wealth would not turn Quino's head, would not make a rich man of him, would not graft onto him the evil limbs of greed and hatred and coldness. For Quino was a well-liked man. It would be a shame if the pearl destroyed him. That good wife Joanna, they said, and the beautiful baby Coyotito, and the others to come. What a pity it would be if the pearl should destroy them all. Obrigada, até às próximas quintas-feiras.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly. 'Tis the season to be jolly.